for decades, companies have intuitively understood the power of creativity. Otherwise, why would brands spend millions upon millions on creating these emotional connections with people? But as I say, until recently, we haven't really been able to explain why that is. There's that adage of, I know 50% of my marketing budget works, I just don't know which 50%. And the truth is, in the last couple of decades, we've actually understood why, which part is working and why. And the reason is that 80% of what we know about the human brain has actually only been discovered in the last 20 years or so. I mean, depending on which science you believe. But some of the biggest findings in the field of behavioral economics, a huge amount has been discovered around human nature and the brain. And essentially what behavioral economics says versus traditional economics, which is very rational, and economists sit there and they go, people are rational beings. When they're forced with a choice, they'll make a rational choice, and it'll be based on weighing it up against one against the other, all of those sorts of things. We've realized is basically entirely wrong. Behavioral economics says that people are much more intuitive, and most of our decisions are emotional and actually irrational. And our thinking as an agency is based on a lot of this new thought. As I say, last couple of decades, but we've been working for the last 4 or 5 years to develop a strategic process that takes all of this into account and helps us understand why creativity works and how to repeat that success. So there's 2 fantastic books I'm sure you most likely would have heard of. The one is called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. He won the Nobel Prize for this, so it must be fairly considered. Basically what he says is that there are 2 systems of thinking, one fast and one slow. The fast one is very intuitive, it's emotional, it's low effort, it's stuff that happens very quickly. And the slow one is driven by considered rational thinking, analytical thinking. And what they've discovered is that 95% of all our decisions are based on emotion, intuitive. So the first system, the one that's entirely irrational. Not irrational, but emotional. So basically, system 1 is in charge. We've always thought that system 2 was in charge, but system 1 is very much in charge. Even if you think you're making a rational decision, you're just justifying the emotional decision that you made earlier. There's another fascinating book called Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. And it also focuses on these principles, the hidden forces that shape our decisions. And there's some fascinating examples. He talks about a whole bunch of categories, but I thought I'd just share one with you to give you a sense. And this is the relativity of pricing, is the way he describes it. And they did this study. So they said to people, you're buying a nice pen. The first store you visit, the pen costs $25, but you find the same pen on sale for $18 at a store 15 minutes away. Do you go to get that pen? And 73% of people, so vast majority, said absolutely yes. To save that $7, they would go to that store 15 minutes away. They showed another group this question. You're buying a nice suit. First store you visit costs $455. But the same suit is on sale for $448 at a store 15 minutes away. Do you make the trip? It's the same amount of money, but the vast majority said no. So that's completely irrational. If we were rational beings, it's $7. It's $7. The value doesn't change because you're buying something more expensive, but we don't feel it's worth it. This is just one of many examples, but I love the sort of approach it takes to assessing how we market. And I urge you, when you read this book, not to use this for evil, because it's very powerful stuff. But you need to navigate this understanding of us as humans being very irrational beings. And if you doubt this concept still, take out all of the statistics, take out everything else. Just consider this. And I know whenever I say this, people give me lots of reasons as to why this is, but how is it possible that for 2 pieces of the same material, one brand can charge you $300 and another brand can charge you 3,000 rand, and you will fully justify that purchase? Because we are so emotionally linked to our decisions that there's no rational reason for this.